Okay, yeah, thank you. So the next step is supplier will deliver the item. So once the item reaches the buyer premises, buyer will do the goods receipt. Okay, tells, yeah, I have received the item that I have ordered. So during this goods receipt process, there will be two options. One for acceptance quantity and the other one is for rejection quantity. So if there is any damage during the transit or if the product is not fulfilling our requirement, we can reject that item, saying that with the actual reason we can reject the item. So once the GR is done, the GR will be notified to the supplier. So supplier will get to know, okay, the buyer has accepted the item and he has received the item. Next step, supplier will send the invoice for the item he has delivered. So once the invoice reaches, Ariba system will do an three-way check. So what does this three-way check means? So Ariba system does not simply accept the invoice, whatever supplier sends. Ariba system will check whether the invoice quantity on the invoice, GR and purchase order matches. And it will check whether the price on the invoice, GR and purchase order matches. And it will also check the tax information on the invoice, goods receipt and purchase order matches. So this is called as three-way match. So it will compare all the three documents, and if it doesn't identify any error or if it doesn't identify any discrepancies, then the invoice will be moved for payment processing. If there is any exception on the invoice, right, then it will involve AP team to manually review that invoice and it will ask them to take action. So AP team can either reject it, if not, they can manually accept the invoice for processing. So once the payment is processed, remittance information will be sent to supplier. What will this remittance information will contain? So this remittance information will contain the payment transaction information. So here, once the remittance is sent, the payment is done and remittance is sent. So here, our procurement activity ends in our Ariba system. So any question till now?
No.
Okay, so now let's see like an full complete end-to-end cycle utilizing Ariba for procuring and laptop. Okay, so let's assume we have a demand now, that is laptop. So to have the laptop, so what the organization is planning is they are planning to go with an sourcing activity. Okay, so what the user will do, he will first onboard the suppliers with the help of SLP tool. Okay, with the help of SLP, he will onboard Lenovo, Dell, and HP supplier. The next step, so once he is onboarded, what he will do, he will create an sourcing event. Okay, so in the sourcing event, first what he will do, he will create an RFI. That is request for information. He will request information from the suppliers. That is like, again, like we will tell, we have another supplier called ABC. We also have supplier 1, 2, 3, and we also have supplier XYZ. In the request for information, what he will do, he will invite all the 6 suppliers and he will ask them to provide the RFI information. That is like he will be requesting suppliers to provide information on the laptop for his business requirement. So now all the supplier has provided the information and supplier has decided to go with laptop Lenovo variant T15. Okay, so now this RFI event is completed, and they have decided to go with T15 as the best suit for the business requirement. And next, what we need to get is, like, we want to get the best price from the suppliers. So this laptop can be delivered by Lenovo. ABC supplier can also deliver it because he is one of the dealer. 123 supplier can also deliver it, and XYZ supplier can also be delivered. And Dell and HP cannot deliver it because they are not authorized to sell Lenovo laptops. In the next step, what sourcing manager will do is he will initiate an RFP, and he will invite all these 4 suppliers, that is Lenovo, so he will invite Lenovo, then he will invite HP, and he will invite, sorry, not HP, ABC supplier, then he will invite 1, 2, 3 supplier, and he will invite XYZ supplier for the bidding process. So in the bidding process, Lenovo has given the price as 120 USD for the laptop, and ABC supplier has provided the rate as 115 USD. And 123 supplier has given the price as 101 USD, and XYZ supplier has bid the price as 121 USD. So comparing all the prices provided by the supplier, system will tell 123 has provided the best price for this product. So now what supplier means, like as a buyer, what we got to know? We got to know that what is required through the RFI, and we also got who is the best supplier who can provide us at the best price. So if it is a one-time purchase, I will be raising an PR for Lenovo T15 for supplier 123 for 10 quantities. If it is one-time purchase, I'll be doing it. This. If I'm planning to, like my forecast tells that I run an IT organization, and in IT organization, like there will be many employees getting onboarded every year. So in that case, if you have some forecast of purchasing laptops in an big number, then you can go with contract management. So if you are going to have an long-term purchase with the supplier, then you can go with the contract management process. And here you can tell. So if I am buying 10 laptops, then give me 2% discount. If I'm buying 20 laptops, here you can tell, give me 3% discount. If I'm buying 50 laptops, give me 10% discount. So what happens if we have a contract with the supplier, and if you are buying this item with the supplier, and if you are raising a purchase order for 50, then automatically the 10% discount will be applied on the unit price of the MRP. It means like a 10% discount will be applied for this 101 USD. Then the PR will be reviewed by the approvers, and it will be converted into an purchase order. Supplier will review the purchase order. He will do the order confirmation, and he will we will send the advance ship notice mentioning when he will be delivering the item. So when the item reaches the organization, buyer will do the goods receipt. Then the invoice will be processed by the invoicing agent, and payment will be processed. Like payment is something like we'll be paying to the supplier. And those payment information will be captured in the remittance remittance advice sheet. So this is the end-to-end flow. of Ariba procurement cycle. Any questions do you have?
Arjun?
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, as an Ariba engineer, like both upstream and downstream modules will be involved in the roles and responsibilities.
Yeah. Correct. Yes. So when you say you're an Ariba consultant, so it means that it is end to end. So you need to know both upstream and downstream.
Okay. Yeah.
And again, like, when it comes to Ariba, so Ariba is not a standalone system in an organization. Ariba is always integrated with an backend ERP tool. So generally, it will always be SAP ERP. That is SAP S/4HANA. So any purchase requisitions, generally, like, we don't integrate the upstream modules, but yeah, SLP we do, because it's a master data. So we want the master data also to be created in the backend ERP system. So we will be creating, integrating SLP tool. Sourcing and contract management are not integrated in many cases, but Ariba has capability to get integrated with the backend S4 system. But purchase order, goods receipt, invoices are integrated to backend ERP system. Payments are actually processed in backend S4 system, because the reason that we integrate our Ariba to backend ERP system is to have an central financing. So if you go ask any organization, right, the central team will always be finance. So anything you buy or anything you spend, the central tool will be finance. So that is where the credit and debit happens. To have a central finance, so what we do, we will integrate our Ariba system to backend ERP system. Remember, did I answer your question?
Yes. Yeah. Also, this S4 HANA you were talking about, right?
Yeah,
Like,
correct.
being completely new to the subject, do I have any prerequirements like to be known before I start into the
Exactly. Yeah,
modules?
so it is good to know before you start, but again, like, it is not always needed to know, like, backend S4 system when you start your Ariba course. So after your Ariba course, you can have a basic training on SAP MM, because again, like, our Ariba tool is actually integrated with MM in the backend. So purchase orders that which we create will be carbon copied to backend ERP system, that is S4 HANA, and that purchase order is created on the MM module, SAP MM module.
Okay.
So it is actually a prerequisite. If you go to an interview, right, definitely, like, they will expect you to know SAP MM in the backend, because only then you will be generally as a consultant. So if you're being an end user, right, so it is not required, because you only work on Ariba. So it is actually not needed for you to know, like, what is MM. But when in the future, like, if you are going to an interview as a consultant, so our main duty is that, we'll be working on debugging the issue, or we'll be working on a particular configurations. So when it comes to configuration,